1 match point is on the cards here for Dire Cubs and Gravitas Academy. 1-1. Pretty dominant victory in game number 1 for Gravitas, as I just step on my headset cable. Pretty similar thing can be said for game 2 there for the Dire Cubs, so interesting to see how things shake up for game number 3.
It's a coin toss, isn't it? Now we finally have a series
It's a
on
coin,
hand.
which is just roll the dice, fellas.
No,
just
well, I
flip
mean,
a
okay.
coin.
Yeah, if we're going with that sort of mumbo-jumbo, anyone that picks red side is going to lose.
Yep, and Dire Cubs did exactly that.
So they're going to lose.
Yeah, so it's been 100% blue side win rate.
This is our amazing analysis.
Yeah, and
here on
Dire
the OCS.
Cubs have side selection for 1 and 3, and have chosen red side both sides. So it's kind of weird, right? Because it's like a bigger conversation to have like every best of X series.
Yeah.
More so best of 5, because best of 3s can be over in 2 games. This isn't the case. Develop their own sort of little insular meta. And yeah, Dire Cubs maybe taking a look at game number 1, just being like, now that we've figured them out in game number 2, we can go back to what we wanted in game 1.
Yep.
And if we didn't go for like split push side lane, like late game threat, if we just go for team fight, then we can win the early game. We can snowball it, get out a game like game number 2, and looked good.
Yeah, well, what we were talking about in break was exactly that. We said that everyone's really been letting Gravitas run away with these greedy compositions. No one's really been like, okay, we're going to take the fight to you. We're going to take away the champs, or at least pick the counters to your champs to really mitigate their effectiveness. Like, shut them down hard. Like, we always talk about that game rock, paper, scissors. Like, Comfort can sometimes triumph rock, but like not when you have Andrew on that Sivir, not when you have like that perfect bot lane to mitigate what you're trying to do with that Twitch. So it's really interesting because Cubs have that experience to be able to shut stuff like this down from Gravitas. I think now it comes down to Gravitas to adapt.
Yeah, and I think, like, adapt, absolutely. I think the bottom lane is something most interesting to look at, right? Because this is Andrew and Corporal that have had 2 very good back-to-back games. Retribution, specifically, is struggling.
Yeah.
There was a Kai'Sa blind that had an absolute shocker on, and then the Twitch didn't get off the ground, right? That's just like Twitch. Like, if you don't have a good early game, it's very hard to make things happen mid-lane, mid-game when you fall that significantly far behind. And those are, like, the 2 big power picks that he's just been given for weeks on end. So I'm curious as to, like, what happens there. Because on the other side of the map, like, harkening back to, like, haha coin flip, like, you can see Kweku having a dominant performance like that, as can Guapi. Like, both of the junglers can pop off, and, like, the mid lane is, like, alternating as well. Like, they can both look good. But the bot side really is favoring the Dire Cubs. And if they can go back to, like, a standard sort of setup, then that looks to be, like, the hinge with which they open up the map, right?
I 100% agree.
It's just, like, consistency down there is really, like, the foundation which they just get to build off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've said it again and again. I must sound like a broken record, but I really do admire that bot lane from the Cubs with Andrew and Corporal. They've just had my eye on them the entire season, and you can just see their strength to be able to perform like that consistently week after week. So for Gravitas, it comes down to really, we need something safe. We need something that can really just at least go even in that bot lane, because they've been losing it back to back, and this is the 3rd game. You're not going to get any more chances. The bands actually, they're off to a flying start, so they're already pre-picked.
Are we going to see the same thing? It's going to be Xin Zhao, GP, Cassio ban from red side.
From Akali, Irelia.
And was it Braum?
No.
What was the 3rd ban?
It was Cassiopeia. Oh, from Gravitas.
No, Dire Cubs is Cassio.
From Gravitas, it was...
Oh, okay, switch it up.
Well, they switched it to Corki.
Corki.
So
Forget what it was first 2 games, but that makes sense. It's been very early lock-ins for the Corki.
Well, they're adapting too. So they've taken away Hot Chelly's Cassiopeia. They're taking away Cubs. I mean, they have flexible members that can play that Corki, but getting too much value, they find.
First pick options. Got to go back to the Vladimir.
That's weird to me. Because, yes, Vladimir's still really, really strong. And yes, Guapi didn't unlock his full potential. But again, if they pick the Renekton into that, he really did struggle in that matchup.
I think the jungle matchup needs to change somewhat. That was Gragas to Sejuani. I think why not? As a few people have been pointing out in Twitch chat, he's missed a few ultis. So the Renekton answer makes a lot of sense here for me for the Dire Cubs. Ubisoft kind of has the world to play with. He can like Jarvan, he can Gragas, he can yada yada. But I'm expecting why not to change up the jungle matchup.
Has to now.
Yeah, because that is scary. Worked game number 2. Renekton Sejuani is super strong, super difficult to deal with. Very similar to the Gragas matchup, where Renekton just gets to start things off by himself, and Vladimir doesn't really have the option to pull. All of the decision-making, all of the proactivity is in the hands of the Renekton, all of the control.
Well, why not? I was going to say, he's played Gragas himself, so is it going to be a flip of the junglers? Do you think that this kind of goes into what Gravitas was hoping for? It really depends on the way the rest of the draft fleshes out.
It's actually good for both of these teams, right? Like, I think getting Why Not off the Sejuani, he's played 2 games back-to-back onto a Gragas, that change-up makes a lot of sense. And then when you look at, like, like meta, Renekton Sejuani is super terrifying. And okay, I like that a lot as well.
Again.
I think this makes a lot of sense, like opening up the bot side, like kind of taking a look at the matchups, like we are not winning this 2v2, but I can win by rotating up the map.
It was
yeah,
Yumi.
true. But getting Emelg away from the laning phase, and if he can help out the Vladimir on the top side, if he can help out in skirmishes around mid lane, then they can open things up. I actually like both of these adaptations coming out of either team here.
It's already showing promising stuff. Yumi is still on the table, as I said, because they didn't have that ban.
Oh.
And the LeBlanc. Normally, Hot Chelly would play something like this. Or, I mean, Hot Chelly, he's really flexible. He took it back to his Orianna roots last game. Didn't quite get the success that he was wanting. Cassiopeia is still taken off.
So, do we see either top lane bans into trying to force Vladimir go mid, or it's like the Syndra, the Ori, the Control Mage ban to the mid lane and just try and get Hot Chelly in a rough matchup? And it looks to be targeting Guapi even further. Diacub's taking a look at this one and being like, look at what we can do to a blind pick Vladimir on the top side with this Renekton early. So you expect then from Diacub's side to be like, okay, Gravitas, we have to change this up. We have to put it into the mid lane. And a blind pick into double top lane ban Assassin and mid side makes that difficult. This is very smart read here from the Cubs.
Okay, and they also didn't want to give Yumi over. Yes, Bard was their answer to Yumi in that first game, but still, they've got something else up their sleeve. So taking that one totally away from the Cubs. And the Fiora Jax targeting again that top lane, so making it a little bit harder for Guapi if he did want to flex onto something else.
Prediction, Vlad mid, Olaf top. I reckon.
Depends on this last ban.
Well, I mean for Gravitas. So Fiora Jax taken off the table. Vladimir is already locked in, and GP is realistically the other end of Guapi's champion pool. Renekton into Olaf doesn't sound like the easiest time, but has the Ragnarok to get himself out of the Sejuani. Either that, or it's just going to be a mid-pick into the LeBlanc. There are other options available. Of course, it was like the LeBlanc lock-in into double top ban. So Hot Chelly realistically has a bunch of options available. But
this is Zyra Khan from the bot lane of Cubs. They have played it, especially in the earlier weeks. They played a lot of it with good results. That feels super duper greedy.
This is okay. Ooh. This is going one way, and it's going one way fast. Zyra Khan, the expected lock-in here for Diacubs, and Retribution has played Vayne before. Very good Vayne player, and Emelg, very good Bard player. So much room for outplay pre-6. They can get work done, but
again, this is kind of going back to the greed that you touched on again and again. That weak early game that you're exposing yourself to with Andrew and Corporal, they know exactly how to abuse that one. Urgot being that last pick over there, haven't seen much of him, even though last week he was played a bit.
Yeah, isn't at the height of the meta currently, but as you can see, the Vladimir I expect is going to be going into the mid lane, and that's going to be Guapi's choice. Up on the top side, not happy to run it back, and the Vladimir-Renekton matchup was super rough. Zyra, of course, was inferred, not locked in just yet. And okay.
Yikes. Yeah, that's going to be a painful bottom lane.
Progression of this series, like game 1, Gravitas play their style, and Diacubs just get baited into it, right? Like they play the Hecarim, they play the Fiora, try and beat them at their own game, and it looked disastrous. But game 2 smashed them. Game 3 doubling down on the early game. So from both sides of the coin, like if Diacubs can repeat what they just did, this could be a whitewash round number 2. They have the Drave and the Renekton and the Rakan to get things going, but Gravitas, if they don't fall to as big of a deficit as they could, right? All of these champions, Vladimir scales into oblivion. Vayne can be exactly the same thing here, and ML, on this Bard, like opening up the map. It's how they've played all season. It has looked the goods many, many times, so both teams just doubling down on their style.
Comes down to who wins that early game a lot harder.
It actually, it really does.
Well, for Gravitas though, to win early game, it's weird. It's just don't fight. Literally. Just farm up as safe as you can. But for Gravitas, they're into that. They really like those skirmishes. I don't know if they have the restraint to be able to do that, but this is where you need to evolve, you need to adapt. This is game number 3. The winner is going to go on to the finals to face the winner of the next game coming up. So that's Mammoth and Emprox.
And okay, you kind of mentioned it, and it's a bit of a meme, but early game is, I think, going to decide a lot of this one. I'm expecting both teams to come out blazing. We've seen level 1s from both games already. I just have to see what happens when they do load onto the Rift here. Looks like a 5-point fan from both of these teams, though, so no shenanigans happening early. Another one of these cleanse heal lanes on the bottom side here for at least the Vayne Bard side of the coin.
I feel like you just need that cleanse on the side for Retribution to keep yourself if there are any mistakes that be made, but it's such a scary bot lane. All right, so time after time as well. In the early game, we've seen Diacubs at least force one summoner out. Has Gravitas learned now in this third game?
Yeah, it looks like they have. Nobody is in the mid lane, you can see. Vlad actually taking what is normally Gragas' spot so that they can have multiple members in the tri-bush, which is interesting. Seaman can level Distort level 1, go for a very deep ward. You saw multiple pings just then, and looks like they may look for a late ward on the bottom side of the map. Is he going to go?
Waiting.
He's going to go.
Yep. Bumps into Why Not.
Nothing really Why Not can do.
Just has the vision, has the intel at least to know that it took place.
Calls over the bottom lane to help him out, make sure there's no sort of late invade happening. Sejuani with a Renekton leash topside also feels good, so Ubisoft going to be off to a cracking start. And you mentioned the cleanse, right? It's somewhat interesting where it just really sucks for lane.
Yeah.
Like, cleanse will do nothing for you into a Draven, somebody who just straight up beats you with raw damage. Like, not having the heal does hurt, but he has to pay the price for when he gets towards the mid-game skirmishes, team fights, yada yada, because there's so much CC. Renekton, point and click. Sejuani has multiple different forms of hard lockdown, so kind of has to pay the price for what will be very useful later on in this game. Early gank.
Very early gank. The flash as well coming out from Why Not, focusing down the spot lane. A heal comes out from Andrew. Looks like he's done enough. And he has. Gets away with his life.
Yeah, barely surviving off the back end. And that was a huge commit early from Gravitas. They saw what happened last game, and they're like, let's just get things happening early. Why Not blows the flash, but they can't quite secure the kill. And you have to think, if that was an Ignite heal lane, then all of a sudden Andrew dies. But because of what we just spoke about, Andrew barely scrapes off the tiny sliver of HP and just walking back from base.
Yep, no teleport this time. The heal was used to keep himself alive. He has taken teleport game 1, game 2. This time just looking to keep himself alive in that lane, or in these team fights that do happen. So it's interesting as well seeing the change of tactics. Top lane, again, Battle of the Titans. You saw Guapi and Kweku. So much aggression coming out from these two. Love to brawl in that lane.
Gragas, after the gank, postured in for a cheeky blue buff steal, kind of poked his nose around, found a Sejuani, so left immediately. Given he used his time in the bottom matchup, you kind of do get this camp lead already. Ubisoft significantly far ahead because he just put his jungle on clear while Gragas looked for that early play, so somewhat unfortunate he doesn't kind of bear fruit in that regard, and the Sejuani steaming ahead just a little bit. LeBlanc also, as well, into the Vladimir is kind of a key matchup that this game hinges on. You saw, like, that was a very obvious play in draft. LeBlanc pick into the Vladimir into double top bans. They wanted this matchup, so see how Diacubs do use this one as the game progresses.
Blue has actually also been started. 3 members of the Cubs wanting to steal this one out. Setback, Why Not even further? So he sacrificed a lot of his time, a lot of his jungle time to help that bot lane out, and Diacubs are really trying to make him pay the price.
Hotchelli has had absolutely no blue buffs this series. Predator popped.
Why not? He doesn't want to get amongst that.
May have just saved his life with the Predator there. Move speed gets himself out of melee range of a Renekton. Certainly a bad place to be as a Boots Gragas with no HP to his name.
Double Scuddler also now picked up by Ubisoft, so his jungle path right there really set himself up very, very well. Got everything that he wanted out of that. Why Not needs to play catch up now.
Ooh, W lands.
In the bot lane, that's going to be the League of Draven happening. Retribution, he has the Ignite ticking, but that last Q didn't quite go across.
Pre-level 6, Rakan lands the knock-up. Jungle now here to help, portals himself through.
And now they're looking. Andrew still does not have that flash. Instead, though, Corporal's taking out a lot of that damage.
2v3.
ELG has to flash, but the first blood connects.
Somehow in a 2 versus 3, they find themselves with a response. Hotchelli rotates down as well, and Andrew Corporal just walk back to their turret. No summoners on the Draven, but Corporal body blocking the belly slam from Why Not. Actually, hugely impactful. They couldn't get on top of Andrew, and when Draven just gets to stand and deliver, dishes out so much damage in this bottom lane. They've invested in it early. looking to continue that lead, but unable to find the response here.
That support synergy. I mean, Corporal, he knew he had his flash up, taking the hit for Andrew, and I just love to see that. There's nothing more frustrating, solo queue, when you see that. But hang on, over here in the mid lane, it's going to be a couple of members surrounding Suman. He has nothing left. The blink already did go out.
TP.
They might have been dissuaded by the TP and Ubisoft. Kweku, he wants to trade. It's going to be ML with a lot of trouble over there. Ignite starting to rain on out, and now they pick up the kill.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's multiple lanes that have been influenced by these early skirmishes. Kweku picks himself up a kill with the W after Ignite ticks down Corporal.
Ooh, in a lot of trouble here though. Retribution, that's going to be an easy kill going over to Andrew, the second now of the game for him.
Interesting interaction with the knock-up still landing there, but Cleanse is going to save you from anything. Andrew on top now, 2-0 in this bottom lane once again. Looking like a bit of a disaster for Gravitas here. 0-2 Bard, 0-1 Vayne, and a Cull. When you look at those items, Cull to BF Sword is not a good place to be as an AD carry main.
And Andrew, he's just happy as can be.
Yeah.
Corporal really just supporting him, saying, do whatever you like. I'm just here for moral support. Just run wild, little Draven. That's really not what you want, though. You don't want that Draven running wild. But for Gravitas, again, things are going a little bit disastrous. They had those early gank attempts, couldn't quite pick up the kills.
And it's also problematic somewhat in the 2 versus 2 in terms of response. When something like this goes wrong, there's very little you can do as Gravitas to help out your bottom lane in this situation. Corporal has so much time to just ward up the enemy jungle when he gets to that point. Ubisoft almost dies to an Infernal Dragon, but
needed a little bit of assistance
gets
from
the
Corporal.
assist. But they don't have reliable CC. It's just a Bard. This is going to be a fight on the top side, though.
Guapi in that 1v1, forces a flash from Kweku, who gets the kill. Loses the 1v1 trade.
3 games in a row, Kweku straight up solo kills the enemy top laner, laying his mark onto Guapi, who spent the entire tiebreakers, the entire back end of the split, demolishing everyone, and Kweku comes into the roster and just booms him.
Kweku's also getting boomed by the minions by a bit of minion block. Always funny to see. But he does manage to get the back. And it just goes to show for Kweku, remember that 3 weeks break that we were talking about? He was definitely not playing TFT, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's grinding. He's grinding Renekton.
Yeah. With good results. But that's exactly what you want in that top lane. It really just opens up a lot more play. Wapi, he's been completely shut down. In fact, we were talking where one of the win conditions or something for Gravitas that they need is that they need Guapi to be able to win or at least trade in that top lane.
Yeah. Has been the single member to carry them over the line multiple times here, but this game looking fairly rough. Significant gold lead already, much akin to game number 2. 2,000 lead at 8 minutes, and this lane is just so hard to step up into. Corporal will almost be hitting level 6 fairly soon, and once that 6 does land, a pink ward in that lane bush, Andrew and Corporal are just sitting on 2 right now. Once they ding that 6 mark, I expect them to just sit behind their vision line, and will just be almost uncontestable in a 2 versus 2 fashion. You can see why not. 0 camps bottom side, but has to float down there to help out his bottom lane. Any sort of kill threat is super difficult to deal with.
Why not spend an ample amount of time in the jungle? He's really started to at least get back some of what he lost.
Ooh.
Going for the very, very aggressive play onto Suman. It's going to be the kill traded over. Surely. There we go. Hot Chelly. He actually also burned a flash for that one, so at least there's going to be a summon to trade it there. Andrew with another kill in that bot lane, making mincemeat out of MLG. Retribution. He's got a couple of members of Dire Cup surrounding him. They want to push in the wave and perhaps go for another dive.
Vayne, Hot Cocoa, and a Dream right now, sitting underneath this turret. Ubisoft has a red buff, so actually deals damage right now.
Cutting him off, the teleport comes out across. Ubisoft is very, very deep in enemy lines, and he knows it. Why not is come across? Hot Chelly has come across, but the turret has been broken. Ubisoft now joined by the rest of the members of his team. Corporal is so low. Why not has no more mana left? Hot Chelly can't do anything.
And Dire Cubs are demolishing Gravitas. Guapi solo dies in top lane once again off screen. Diving between 2 turrets in the bottom lane. This gold lead explodes to almost 4k right now, and it's only going from bad to worse.
Gravitas, it's a tough place to be for them. They had a composition in mind. They just needed those kills to come across with those early ganks and just set them back a little bit too far. Dire Cubs, the exact team who knows how to capitalize on these sorts of mistakes.
And it's already a BT Draven at 10 minutes.
No thanks.
Last game, it was what, like a 2-item 80 carry to almost a balk of Twitch, and this is 10 minutes and a full item completed 3 plates taken topside already by Kweku. You can see Gravitas going for the map flip. They don't want anything to do with the standard lanes. Top is losing in isolation. Bot is losing in isolation. Very smart play to just switch up the map, but given the deploy here from Diacubs, they will have the response.
Why not trying to open up onto him? Forces the bleep away from Suman. Actually comes back in for the chains. Forcing out that early pocket watch. It doesn't matter for Hot Chelly. He doesn't have one available. Why not? He needs to get away. MLG trying to support him over the wall. He does manage to disengage with his life.
Okay, so blasting plan gets Gragas to safety. Retribution waiting in the wings, but will struggle to fight this one. You can see Rift Herald started up very quickly here, and they have a boatload of damage behind them. Rotation from Guapi puts him in mid lane, but Kweku has TP in the next 20 seconds. It is still a 4 versus 4. Hodcheli dead with no TP, so numbers equalized.
All the members up here surrounding that Rift Herald. The pings are coming out though. Gravitas look like they want to try and contest for that. Just going to be a little bit too late. Ubisoft does manage to pick it up. Will dash over the wall. Actually gets stopped by Why Not. They're totally blocking him off. He has been caught out. The shutdown goes across to Why Not.
Yeah, 600 gold shutdown for a Rift Herald. Have to shout it out. Why Not? Gragas combos have been clean. Last two getting themselves the predict in the mid lane, the ER flash combination, and now keeps Ubisoft in the pit. It's a hard task to defend against this one. Even without a jungler, Andrew Corporal feeling safe to continue pushing in topside. No money wasted on boots. Andrew's got himself a free-ass pair, and this turret is certainly not long for the world.
I like that their bot lane from Diacubs is really dictating the flow. As soon as they rotated top, made the play for the Rift Herald, and they don't even care about the bot lane. Like, Kweku is happy as can be in that bot lane. Dragon's going to be up soon. That's going to be definitely another fighting point. But for Gravitas, they just can't afford to be fighting all of these battles. They really can't afford to be contesting a lot of these.
And I think Diacubs feels strong enough to be able to dissuade the contest 4 versus 5. Ulti's going to come out from the Draven. Fight erupts in the bottom lane. Remember, no TP, and Andrew is probably about 45 seconds away from getting here, so Gravitas is going to start this one up.
Gravitas, very early to start this one up. Kweku opening up with his ultimate. They want to get amongst it. That's a big ultimate from the Sejuani, locking up the members. Guapi, he does manage to get away. It's going to be Gragas who's first to fall. Now they're turning their attention onto Corporal. He might have bitten off more than he could chew. The execute comes out from Guapi, even though he had multiple members charmed. Suman tries to land the chains across the wall. Forced to back off.
But they got what they came for. 4 versus 5. Yes, they lose the Rakan, but Draven just sits top whacking away at a turret. Smite comes down from Ubisoft to get themselves the double Infernal Dragon. And now quick rotate into mid lane, gonna bash in for some more plates.
It's gonna be Shelly. Really
nice
quoting on. Ooh, nice deny from ML.
Smarts.
Yeah, really helps to at least get rid of some of that gold that Diacubs would have gotten. But see Suman, he's still posturing around the mid lane, still happy to try and push in.
Yeah, the one thing I like is you can really tell their gravitas, like, are mains of the champions they're selecting. When you say, like, goes back to comfort, you can really tell the mastery here. Emelg looks like a Bard player. Got so much value out of portals in game 1.
Sorry, looks like a Bard player. Smells like a Bard player. From one Bard player to another. Retribution might have bitten off more than he can chew over here. Corporal is here to attend and help. Tries to get away. Emelg having to try and help him out. He doesn't trade his life this time around.
And this is a 4 versus 5 again. Andrew walking out of base with another BF sword, but Gravitas don't feel strong enough to be able to fight this one. 6,000 gold is the lead right now. Very nice 10-pit fate, denied the plates going down mid lane. So the mid turret is actually fairly healthy here for Gravitas. But everywhere Andrew and Corporal have been deployed on the map, turrets have fallen, and now after 14 minutes, no plates, no resist. This is probably going to be a similar situation.
Turret breaking squad is go. Andrew's sitting on so much gold. I wonder what his adoration stacks is now. He's had some time to build him up.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this gold.
He's almost double.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I love Vayne, but like, she just, if you have someone that knows how to really just punish you in that early. But the thing is, Retribution almost didn't get punished. That was the thing. Again, turning back to that gank, but just needing to play that cleanse tax. Why not? In the bot lane, trying to chase down Suman, has the Predator activated. Goes out with the smite to slow him down. Suman trying to see what he can do. He's going to get boomed. Why not? At least picking up a kill here in the bot lane.
Yeah, very nicely played. Uses the smite to...
A trade, though. Retribution did fall to the jungler, to Ubisoft, while that was going on.
Double punish on the other side of the map. You can see Kweku pushing top. The rest of the boys pushing in mid lane. Yes, Retribution falls down once again. It looks like they rotate top lane. I was mentioning, why not? The reason he doesn't just throw his E early is because the distortion was still active. So very nice use of the smite. Buys some space onto Seaman, and then as soon as it was gone, The Distort back. Fortunately not on the cards. E in the face, gets one hit by the Gragas. Feels good, man, but we lose turret in the mid lane. Now the entire outer ring is broken here. 2 minutes on the next Dragon, only an Ocean. 4 minutes away from Baron buff. And much like game number 2, Dire Cubs have a monumental lead going into the mid game here.
Especially in that bot lane, you can really see the difference mostly down there. So 0-3 Vayne, 0-3 Bard. But you look at that Draven with the bounty on his head, almost 2 items. And that's just, yeah, that's just tough. They don't really have an answer for that for Gravitas because they're only now trying to catch up on the other lanes.
Hitting their spikes soon-ish, right? Black Cleaver completed, Bork almost there for the Vayne. The good thing is, Vayne is kind of a 2-item hyper carry once he gets towards the Gwinsus, which is probably the expected second item. Does actually deal relevant damage, but we're probably about 5 or 6 minutes away from that point, and Baron up in about 3.5. CMN now deployed to the side lane. Dire Cubs looking to play the entire map, get all 3 lanes pushed in and completely open up all their opportunities.
Clashing over here. Milk is over here on standby as well, if there is a fight happening towards this river. Nice ward in the mid lane as well from Dire Cubs, giving them that extra vision. Oh, and unfortunately the sweep just expired, so they can't clear that one out.
Yeah, feels bad. Full rotate to the mid lane though. Kweku over as well. He's channeling a record, but off Fog, so Gravitas don't actually know what's up. Predator pops though from Why Not. Has flash available, so engage has to be respected here.
They do get some cheeky hits at least on that middle turret. So from Dire Cubs, Andrew and Corporal, again, as you said, deployed in that mid lane, but also just staying in that mid lane. Kweku being an absolute nuisance in that top lane. The ultimate did miss, but Hot Chelly's following up with his, using that extra speed to try and get Kweku. He's going to be dashing away. The rest of the members of Gravitas are trying their best to catch up. You have ML and Why Not? Finally now they're trying to see if they can cut Kweku off from that turret, and they might have done enough over here. The ultimate gets popped from Kweku. He manages to almost take one out. Why Not is dropping very, very low. But he actually lives. He's towards his turret.
Oh.
Gravitas are unwilling to dive that one and taking so much time that Suman is almost there.
Yeah, Seaman rotates over, and our numbers advantage in the mid lane. Guapi in trouble.
Guapi in so much trouble, surrounded by 3 members of the Cubs, and that's going to be another kill over to Andrew.
Retribution. Kademit to the wall, very nice. Saved his life there, but the turret, not long for this world. Half HP in the Vayne. Melg has no ulti, so continuing the push.
Corporal was really wanting that over there. Tried to go for the combo. Retribution keeping him at bay. The rest of the members of Cubs, though, they're going up into this top lane, sensing that Hot Chelly's just by himself. Kweku, again, didn't even reset back to base.
Yeah.
Just still chilling in this lane.
Got chased to his outer turret. Dive was not to be, but smart map play there. Dire Cubs with the response. It was one of those unfortunate situations where Why Not pops the ulti to save himself, but in doing so, all 3 members committing to the Renekton get denied a kill. And he kind of just walks away. The hard part of the game is approaching, right? For the past 5 minutes, you've seen Gravitas. Yes, they've been pulled around the map, and Dire Cubs are eking out advantages, as they should right now with this much of a gold lead. But as soon as the Baron spawns, it's just so easy to pull a team out of their base. Gravitas have always had somewhere to fall back to, but the big purple worm spawns. It becomes infinitely harder. Infinity Edge now completed on the Draven. I don't believe we got to see the cash-in of the stacks, but he certainly would have got it. Goes back with Boots 2 and a BF sword, I believe, and just buys the complete IE outright. So huge spike of gold for the Draven.
It's like buying a dead cap outright, because you're using that to compare how much gold you've got. Dragon is also available on the board, as well as Baron, probably looking to at least take that one out, so there's not going to be something that Gravitas can try and pick up.
Yeah, for about like the 40 seconds it takes the Baron to spawn, they just don't have anything realistically to do. You can see Kweku just kind of wandering down towards bottom side of the map. I expect Dire Cubs to flip their lanes here. LeBlanc top, Renekton go on the bottom side so they can utilize their TP. Ocean Dragon just being taken in the meantime. Key items have been completed though now. Hex Belt for the Vladimir, Bork completed for the Vayne. Yes, every one of their counterparts is significantly ahead, but you need to be hitting those spikes in the hands of Gravitas if you have any hope of winning a team fight around the Baron.
Yep, another free Dragon on the side of Dire Cubs, not a third Infernal. That would have just made matters worse for Gravitas, but they do manage to get an Ocean for their troubles. But that gold lead, it's almost at 10k. So for Gravitas, the breaks have to be held. The turtling is happening, but Baron, we know, that's going to be the next fight that they have to make the decision. Do they want to try and fight for it? Do they feel that's their best chance, or do they want to weather the storm?
Yeah, Corporal spots out the enemies right now. Seaman finds himself a Gragas. Commits to this one.
Yeah. He's actually forced to use the Hourglass, flashes away at the last moment, avoiding the ult from Why Not?
Yeah, ambitious play actually gets punished there. Was looking to get Gragas flash. Quicker with the bottom side.
Guapi actually keeping him at base, so it's going to be at least that 1v1. So the numbers are equal over here in this fight. Although it doesn't matter though, with that charm, Andrew with the damage. Mocelli needed to immediately flash. MLG gets a nice ultimate, but there is no follow-up just yet. But they do manage to at least get 2 members. Guapi is here as well, trying his best to take down Andrew. Andrew gets the triple before he dies. They're still hunting for more. Corporal, very, very low. MLG wants to try and get him, gets the stun. Guapi though, too far away, can't quite follow up. Seeing if he can do the 1v1. Backs away to reset.
Would win the 1 versus 1, but they have to defend the base. Gravitas eke out actually relevant advantages here. Guapi was 2 levels down to the side lane before that teamfight erupted and was actually winning those trades. TP's over and a very nice Tempered Fate from the Bard locks them down, and a huge shutdown onto Andrew who gets picked up. So big influx of gold for Gravitas Academy, and also just minutes passing where Dire Clubs don't set up for the Baron is super useful right now. It opens up opportunities. Retribution now being able to farm mid. I believe it was the Bard that locked down the shutdown from the Draven, which does suck if you're Retribution, if you're a carry of Gravitas, but shutdown is a shutdown nonetheless.
Retribution was already dead.
Yeah,
Retribution was the decoy. But to not at least give it to the top lane or the mid laner, that does suck. I didn't actually see it either. It happened so fast. I don't know who got the gold.
It's either Urgot or Bard. I think it was Bard. 96% sure.
If you look at the gold.
Yeah, I reckon it was Bard. 11 assists to 3, and he's within touching distance, within like, what, 400 gold? That's a fatty shutdown.
That's a juicy bonus. But to show how far ahead Andrew was, still also reset. So he had a bounty even on top of that bounty.
Yeah.
As we know, they can stack.
That's a big Draven. Dragon, or Baron rather, has already started up. Blue Trinket way too late.
Gravitas actually, they didn't have a chance to contest. Or also the vision that you see set up on the side of Dire Cups, they had all the paths completely locked up and knew exactly where Gravitas were.
And that's one of the benefits of just winning the game, right? You fight an enemy territory, so your remnants of your vision is already set up for the Baron buff. They redeploy, yes, put down a couple of pinks, but just one hit the Baron with a Draven.
Auto attack.
Yeah, it feels good.
Onto Retribution. One. Again, one auto attack onto Why Not, so completely chunking. That's Andrew. Protecting their cannon minion as well, so that they can start to push into this middle lane.
Rapid fire completed for the Draven, so every now and again gets a pot shot. That's an engage.
That is a huge engage. Blink and you would have missed it. The counter engage tries to go out from Why Not, but it's a little bit too late. Corporal to start that one off, so now Gravitas forced to defend with a member down. Kweku still pressuring this side lane.
4 versus 4 in the mid lane. Kweku left alone. Retribution now deployed to the side lanes. The waves aren't matched, so it's kind of this bouncing scenario where Dire Cubs hit top and then hit mid. Not at the same time, but still 4 versus 5 for the next about 15 seconds. Mid turret opened up as Retribution is topside, so this one's going to be dead.
So much damage means that they can get that one out. Completely dodging MLG's ult. As well, Dire Cubs still pushing. They at least want to try and get this inhibitor. The cannon is still being escorted in. Members are still very, very healthy as well. The Ocean Drake helping to also keep them topped up.
Quarter HP auto attack through the Guardian as well.
Respawn has happened, so you do have Guapi back.
Top
that
turret.
Top turret, yep, again is falling, so trading back and forth. Now the inhibitor is very, very low. Finally now the minions will get that final blow. And Dire Cubs looking to rejoin up with Kweku and perhaps force the fight here and end the game.
Yeah, Gragas has been a big part of every single one of Gravitas' engages, and currently does not have the flash available. Why Not wishing he had the summoner up, but is about a minute off cooldown. So Dire Cubs feeling safe to step up. In-hip breaks, top in-hip turret breaks, and now completely flipping the map onto bot side. This one's going to die incredibly quickly.
Yep. Instead of escorting top with that open in-hip, they changed their tactics. Saw bottom was completely unguarded. Now they have no more inner turrets. The base is completely opened up. These inhibitors looking very, very good. But what this means for Dire Cub is that they have full control over their base. Gravitas on the defensive, and they know it.
Top in-hip under fire as well. Vlad ulti down.
That was the ultimate. Only hitting Andrew, only onto one person. Sumin just being that nuisance on the side, trying to catch out one person. Andrew as well, stepping on up. There we go. There's the stun. There's the charm. There's the follow-up kill. Andrew looking for more. Gets the double kill over there. Retribution forced away. It's only going to be Email getting Retribution, trying to hold them bait. Bard ultimate is up. Only manages to lock down Corporal. Guapi is here as well. The double stun is very, very nice. There's the execute. Now they look to see if they can get Corporal. He manages to escape, but that's Andrew taken out. The push here from the Diacubs might need to be put on hold.
And GRVA hold on for just a little bit longer. Another 700 gold shutdown gets handed over to Guapi. Second item will, of course, be completed very soon, but base in absolute shambles. 6 super creeps spawning every single wave, 2 in each lane for the next couple of minutes at least. Diacub still in complete control, but huge fight necessary. Backs against the wall, and now they have Gragas Flash available. If you're an optimist, you're looking at this and saying 2 items probably completed on Vayne very soon. Urgot hits his spike as well, so if they can win a fight then, they may just be able to win another one with the summoners up.
They are holding on, that's the important thing. Another dragon being picked up by the Cubs, that was an Ocean Drake, so 2 for 2 now. But on the side of Gravitas as well, yes, they do have a bunch of supers coming in, but all the objectives for at least the next 2 minutes until Baron respawns have been taken. This is going to be maximum waves being fed to their base. They can turtle off these and try to really recoup some of that lost gold.
Yeah. 100%.
That's the silver lining on the
It's a very,
downside.
Very silver lining. It's super shiny.
Diacubs can
very
literally
minimalist.
get a pick and end.
Yes.
That's also what you're faced with.
But it's hard to pick people when you're kind of inside their base, and you have to shout it out. Very, very enormous Tempered Fate from Emog actually set that fight up. If they can find access to the Draven, then certainly turn things around, but gonna need to do it time and time again. Has been fishing over the course of the game.
Yep, now Diacubs. Ooh, and Kweku's actually finished his Guardian Angel. He's going to make himself even more of a nuisance now, but Cubs escorting all of their lanes over here. This is where it starts to come. The Predator's out from Why Not. They know that they need to fight. They actually pop Andrew completely. Emel manages to lock up Corporal as well. Suman is forced completely on the defensive, and they do actually, though, manage to get him with the execute at the last moment. That's 2 members down on the side of Cubs. Gravitas coming out on top.
And another huge fight from Gravitas Academy. They lock down the 1 member. Andrew, only 3 deaths to his name, but 3 back-to-back fights he dies, and Diacub struggling to close this one out, looking to push with all the minions. They just want to play it slow. There's kind of that clock ticking where you have all these super creeps hitting your Nexus and you have to pull the trigger immediately. Gravitas recognize flash burn from Vlad, flash burn from the Gragas, and they find the engage that they needed. Baron spawning in 30 seconds, and super creeps actually doing a lot of work right now. They just want a team fight, 5 versus 3 on the map, and they're struggling to leave their base, but 2 fights in a row, big influx of gold, and a third could mean a Baron buff.
Actually checking, they did have a Vision Ward in there, so at least they could do a little bit of damage. Not willing to take the fight, not willing to commit to it. They don't know where the rest of the members of Cubs are.
And do they contest the Baron? Super Creeps may prove too strong here, and it looks like Gravitas trying to get Gragas in for a steal, maybe? Nah.
Hard to say what they want to do if Gragas is taken out. Why Not's really what's keeping them together at this point with his engages and that prioritization. They do give this one over completely to Diacubs, realizing that it's better to fight all together for that last hurrah. But now for Cubs, they can escort these waves in. If you see them stacking up, the minions themselves empowered by the Baron buff could even end this game.
Yeah, and context matters massively. Last fight, they had Vlad Flash, they had Gragas Flash, and now they're in exactly the same situation. Andrew has both his summoners, and they have 5 Baron buffs. So yes, Inhib spawning soon, but this is just a repeat of what we saw 2 minutes ago, and the favor is certainly in their hands here, as that's an engage.
That's a counter engage, this time though onto Guapi completely. Andrew manages to get the first kill, that's going to be onto Hot Chelly. Rest of the members starting to push on up. The heal, the redemption comes out, but Kweku, he's got the stun over there. They can't quite commit to the rest of this fight. Instead, they opt for the inhibitor.
Inhib does fall down. Second one spawning very soon. Still 5 Baron buffs available. Hot Chelly 30 seconds off a respawn.
Minions working their way onto that Nexus turret. One of them at least will go down. The rest of the members of Gravitas trying to rejoin up, regroup, see what they can do. But MLG so low, has to tunnel out of there. The rest of the members of Cubs, they're looking for that turret. They're trying to take that one down. There's a skirmish happening up on the top. They've got 1 member there. singled out. Guapi has been taken out. Retribution so low. Now Why Not is next to fall. The rest of the members of Gravitas doing what they can to stay alive. It's not going to be enough. Dire Cubs managed to get the series there through to the finals.
And in a rocky first game into 2 very dominant victories there for the Dire Cubs. Game number 2, an absolute whitewash. Tough victory in the back end, but they're going to pick it up in classic Dire Cubs fashion. You know, first game, they play towards their opponents. As soon as they go back to basics, play towards the style they've been using the entire split, Dire Cubs look the goods.
They really, really did. They were looking so strong. That's the Cubs that we know. That's the Cubs that we love. That's the Cubs that we were missing for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But you can see they were definitely very, very busy in that time period. They played the game that they needed to. They drafted very, very well.
Yeah.
And Andrew, this time, from game 2 and 3, actually got to pop off.
Yeah, 100%, right? Like, game 1 was like struggle town on the Corky, couldn't find access to fights. But you mentioned it, like drafting and their read on Gravitas that evolved over the course of the series really played a big part. Like, Gravitas had their style, worked game number 1, and then doubled down massively. And Dire Cubs are like, okay, like, we know exactly what you're going to do. We play the early game punish as long as you don't get, like, they put them off their comfort. Like, that was an Urgot on the top side, no GP, no scaling top side like the Vladimir, anything like that for Guapi. They get their Renekton back-to-back. They get a strong early game. They go heavily early game with a Draven, and yeah, that looked the goods.
Well, Gravitas, they tried. They really did. And to even get a game off the Dire Cubs, like, that was still a really enjoyable series for me, at least. And I hope for everyone at home.
No, 100%, right?
They tried to do the upset. They tried to be the upset kids, and they almost got away with it.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, right? Coming into this one as the 6th seed, making it out of the tiebreakers. They were the last team or to get the quick 2-0, and they go out the top side of the bracket. Gravitas Academy start that one off with a loss, go through quarterfinals, 2-0 victory there, and then eventually falling to Dire Cubs. This is a team that had 6 weeks of like undefeated streak at the start of the season, so amicable opponent there, but for Gravitas Academy, that is going to be the end of their run for the 2019 OCS. Dire Cubs, though, onwards and upwards. These guys, a bunch of OPL experience behind the scenes as well, straight up towards the finals.
Yeah, have to wait and see how they go. Have to wait and see who their opponent is going to be. Yeah, we think we're done. No,
absolutely not.
We got plenty more games. Well, we got 3 to be exact, hopefully.
Yeah, that is going to be the case. We'll be figuring out who is going to be matching up in the grand final versus Dire Cubs. Mammoth versus Mprox. 10 minutes away, guys. Go grab a drink. Go grab some popcorn.
Snacks.
We'll see you back there.